In this video, I will explain which solder wire is worth buying for soldering and electronics repair, and which solder wire are better to avoid right away. Only what has practical value when you work with your hands. LED or LED-free alloy tapping. This topic has already been fully covered in the separate video, the link in the description, watch later. I will only remind you that for most printed circuit boards repairs, LED alloy solder wire is fine. LED-free solder wire is only needed when you clearly understand why you are using it and for what specific task. You have set the correct temperature of 350 degrees of Celsius, 662 degrees of Fahrenheit, and the soldering iron tip is able to work in this high temperature for a long time. There is also a separate video about that, the link in the description. For comfortable manual soldering and electronics repair, LED solder wire is most universal. It melts well, behaves more calmly on the tip, it has good flow, but the choice of solder wire does not end with the question LED or LED-free. There are several more factors that affect your soldering quality. If you are not subscriber yet, subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thank you so much. What is important when choosing solder wire? First, solder wire diameter. This is one of the most underestimated parameters. Many people don't look at the diameter at all. Buy whatever they happen to find, then they struggle during soldering and think that they have a bad soldering station or crooked hands. In practice, diameter strongly affects how easily the molten solder is fed into the solder joint, the speed of soldering, the feeling of plated through holes, the quality of fillets, and overall pace of work. For myself, I choose a diameter of 0.8 mm. It's 20 AWG a long time ago as the most convenient universal diameter for manual soldering. This solder wire is rigid enough to be fed normally by hand, not dangle around and not bent like a thread. At the same time, it melts quickly, it's enough for normal filling of plated through holes, for soldering of through holes components and connectors, and it is simply comfortable to work. Solder wire that is too thin, especially below 0.8 mm, is often less convenient in real work. It is consumed quickly, bends easily, and forces you to constantly aim at the solder joint and move it through your fingers more often. For very small tasks, a small diameter of solder wire can be useful, but I would not recommend it as the main. Next, dry flux inside the solder wire. This is a very important point. The presence of roll zero class flux inside the solder wire matters a lot when you are soldering and use solder joints or when you need to fill many plated through holes with component leads. There is no need to add extra flux. In most cases, flux inside the solder wire itself is enough. This speeds up the work and makes the soldering process more convenient. Sometimes the flux inside the wire may not be enough for proper reflow, so you have to add gel or liquid flux, especially for fixed first joint. Don't forget that the flux inside the solder wire and the flux that you apply additionally should be of the same class. For maximum soldering safety, I use roll zero class flux. For example, gel diamond flux FN231 or liquid diamond flux FN232. It is also sometimes convenient to use solder wire that not contains internal dry flux. In such cases, it is necessary to apply flux beforehand. Otherwise, the molten solder will not flow at all and will simply stick to the surface. Next point, solder wire quality. The quality of solder alloy inside the wire matters enormously. From the outside, a spool of solder wire maybe look nice, but in reality, there may be a dirty alloy inside. Most people buy solder spool on well-known marketplaces, where most of offers are Chinese products. And yes, there are working options among them, but in most cases, you are buying an unclear product with an inaccurate composition, with impurities, and with an unclear flux inside. Then such solder may wet pads, leads, and surface finishes worse, may contaminate the iron tip faster, makes soldering uncomfortable, and the question of what metal proportions are inside will remain a mystery to you. If your approach is it's solder that is enough, then maybe this will suit you. But if you want to control quality, if you repair or assemble other people's printed circuit boards and want to solder at high level, then the materials must be a high quality. I will not list marketplaces. I would rather name the manufacturers that I personally trust: Balverzin, Koki, Indium, Weller, Kester, AIM. Which solder wire alloys should not be bought? First, these are various low temperature alloys with bismuth or beryllium. Yes, they melt easily and at first glance they are convenient to work with, but low melting temperature by itself does not make the joint high quality. Such alloys are not intended for reliable operation under mechanical load, vibration, and temperature changes. These alloys solder conveniently only until you start thinking about long-term solder joint durability. For printed circuit boards assembly and repair, I don't recommend low-temperature solder alloys at all. Sometimes rose alloy is used as an additional solder for desoldering to dilute the existing solder and simplify the removal of some PCB components. In my own practice, over many years, I have never used such alloys. It is much more useful to learn how to correctly use a bottom preheating table, hot air temperature, and soldering profiles than to try to solve everything with low temperature solder alloys with bismuth or beryllium. The sellers themselves also make things more difficult for you when under the term low temperature solder they hide both regular lead solders and actually low temperature solders. Low temperature solders are all alloys that reflow below 180 degrees Celsius and contain metals such as bismuth or beryllium. Tin lead alloy reflow from 183 degrees Celsius and in my opinion should not be considered low temperature. Mistakes when choosing solder wire. The first mistake is filtering only by price. Sometimes it seems to you that the solder is just a consumable material and that the difference between spools is not that important. This is a mistake. Solder is one of the key materials in the formation of solder joints. If the solder material is bad, then the joint quality will also be bad. The second mistake is ignoring the diameter. The third mistake is not trying to understand what flux is inside the solder wire. The fourth mistake is buying unknown solder wire from a random manufacturer just because it is cheaper. And the fifth mistake is overestimating your own skill level and thinking that low quality materials can be compensated for by execution quality, by experience. No, bad solder wire will still create extra problems for you. What should a beginner buy? If you are just learning to solder, then at the beginning I would not make a call out of expensive materials. For training, you can use almost any solder wire of an average level. At this stage, your task is to understand the behavior of molten metal, learn how to hold and control the soldering iron, control heating, solder wire feeding, and the amount of molten solder. While you are building hand skill, there is no sense in immediately chasing the most expensive option. But as soon as you move from training to repairing other people's print circuit boards or to soldering new PCBs for customers, the requirements must change sharply. Here you can no longer work by the principle of "I cannot do any better." Any return due to low soldering quality, any crack, unstable contact, bad joint or repeated repair is already a direct loss of money and reputation. At that moment, saving money on solder wire becomes simply foolish. Right now about solder wire alloys formulas. Lead solder wire alloys for hand soldering. Stannum 63, plumbum 37. Stannum 60, plumbum 40. Stannum 62, plumbum 36, argentum 2. The color of high-quality lead solder wire is always bright and clean and free of visible spots on the wire. Lead-free solder wire alloys for hand soldering. Stannum 96.5, argentum 3.5. Stannum 96.5, argentum 3, cuprum 0.5. It's a SAC 305. High-quality lead-free solder wire often has a matte surface. This is normal color. Occasionally, small spots of nearly the same color may be visible. And don't forget to use proper fume extraction during soldering and provide fresh air intake. Do not breathe this. For manual soldering and electronics repair, I will start with lead solder wire from a trusted manufacturer with a convenient diameter 0.8 mm, 20 AWG and high quality roll zero flux inside. That solder wire is enough to remove a huge number of typical problems and not make to work more difficult for yourself from the very beginning. If you don't see markings on the spool when buying, indicating the solder alloy, wire diameter or flux class, walk away. There are no miracles in soldering. Either you have normal materials and a predictable result, or these are future problems that many people mistakenly blame on the soldering iron, temperature or flux. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. In the description you will find links to other useful videos. Support my channel on Patreon. For those who want to use high quality soldering fluxes, under the video you will find links to my diamond flux products. You can buy them online through Amazon, Walmart and DGK. Thank you for watching. See you next video.